What we need to do if we're going to break the stigma is to make a safe space where people can actually talk about their status.
I want to pick up to say stigma is the killer.
Many countries are still struggling, and the people living with HIV are still struggling to get ARVs.
We are sitting on the 21st International AIDS Conference, and I have still never seen a panel where a high-level religious leader speaks from the plenary. It hasn't happened.
In this instance, HIV and AIDS still ends up being one of those issues where how we talk about and how we see and how we deal with. So the issue of how to think versus what to think.
I've been to 7 international AIDS conferences. Durban is a very significant place for the HIV conferences, and this is only the second conference that's been held on the African soil. And yet, this is the pandemic that affects 2/3 of the world's population living in one continent.
I think one of the things we've done very well as the faith community, it's the outreach. We've opened up our places of worship to provide medication to people, but we haven't done enough in-reach.
We need intergenerational communication on sex and sexuality with our grandchildren and our children, as parents, as grandparents, as pastors.
I think religious leaders should also understand that their role, whether it's a priest or an imam, it's a facilitatory role, and that can't just happen behind the pulpit. You have to be mixing with people in the community where the pain lies.
My first International AIDS Conference and Pre-Conference was in 2006 in Canada. So that makes it my 6th conference here in Durban. I remember, the 2006, it was a very brave opening, I think, where men having sex with men was, talked about, and then there was a big backlash after the conference. I think the faith community has actually, over the years, gone quite a long way.
Just simply this. And this does not mean for us primarily the idea of the image of hanging on the cross, but rather for us this means stretching.
We need to build relationships with people living with HIV. We benefit from those relationships. Our lives are better as a result of those relationships, and through those relationships we can find new energy as to how we reduce stigma within faith communities.
Let us work together in the next 5 years to make sure that we change all the discussions that we have, all the commitments that we made, all the assets that we have, we change them and use them.
One of the best sermons I ever heard, and I heard 20 years ago, was by an African-American woman priest who said, actually, we people of faith get it wrong because we love justice, but we do mercy.